Today, Precarious plays
Deus Ex, Mankind Divided. We should have a little bit of time to talk before cutscene or something starts. Fire Emblem Three Houses. I thought I was going to hate every part of it based on what I had seen and what I had heard. It's worse than that because there are actually a lot of elements that I like. But it's almost always, so you're familiar with the phrase, 2 steps forward, 1 step back?
Yeah.
Consistently, it has been 1 step forward, 1 step back. Every new mechanism.
You're like, oh, that's nice. Oh, what is this dog shit?
Yeah. Uh-huh. At every point, I've had... Have there been any unambiguous... Just pure win. Just good job, team. Has anything like that?
He told me as long as it takes.
Have I found anything like that? The Divine Pulse system. I thought I was gonna hate it. Right?
Yeah.
No, not even that. Damn it.
Well, I can tell you while you're thinking, we were going to play this, like, on the same file and just kind of pass it back and forth, but I bounced off the surface harder than I ever thought possible.
Yeah, for a very peculiar, completely valid, I should add, a very peculiar but valid reason. We have, is it just called a Switch Lite?
Yeah.
We have a Switch Lite that we share, and it is really hard to read the text. It's difficult for me, and that you can't read. Like, can you read it at all?
I can, but it is so difficult for me because of the, like, dyslexic problems that I have. It's awful.
Alex, I'm in. Anything I need to know before I start up this chair?
Every NSN is different, man, so I'm not sure what to expect. I'm guessing you'll end up in some kind of virtual conference room. No one else should be in there.
And if they are?
They'll see you as Miller, so say something snippy and log off.
Okay. Where do I find these stored conversations?
Hell if I know. This is your plan. But holographic recordings take up a lot of virtual memory, so you may have to look in several places.
I'll just have to play it by ear.
Exactly. The whisper chip is still in place, though, so we'll both know when you've done it. Good luck, Adam.
That's not intimidating. Anyways, it's not that I absolutely cannot read it, it's that I have to hold it like 4 inches from my face.
Mm-hmm.
And
this is different.
The writing is so boring that it just makes me sad when I'm finally decoded whatever's on this screen. I'm like, oh no, why did I bother to read this? This is terrible.
And I'm going to point out that I think it would be too tiny even on a...
I would have to sit close to the TV if we like got something to project it up.
Yeah, like if we had a regular Switch and it was docked,
it would still be taking up the wrong proportion of the screen.
Yeah, it's still too small.
Yeah, and that seems like that was the thing. That was the cherry on top. Like, I didn't love it to begin with, and it just took so long to wade through, and I didn't really appreciate the voice acting as much as I thought I would because they just took forever to say 2 things.
Well, I turned the voice acting off because I could not imagine. Like, I think I've already played, well, this is a little misleading. I think I've already played it for 30 hours.
Yeah.
And I God, it would probably be an additional... I can't even guess. I'm not going to try. It would be much more if I was waiting for the voice acting clips to resolve, and if I am skipping through them most of the time, then that would just be aggravating.
Right, and I thought that the voice acting would help because I wasn't, like, I didn't like reading it, but it was just like, I did not like the writing, the script. It was not charming whatsoever.
Yeah, the script is... some of the support conversations are okay, but it's Fire Emblem. Of course, some of the support conversations are okay. There are dozens of them. You know, there are a huge number of support conversations. Of course, some of them are going to be all right. Like, I like Bernadetta, because they... I mean, to be frank, I find some of her lines, like, charming, but they're also wildly anachronistic.
Yeah.
But a big part of it is that she nicknames herself Bernie whenever she's talking. She's like, you goofed it again, Bernie. And every time she does that, I just imagine Senator Bernie Sanders
With his mittens.
Yeah, exactly. And it's really funny.
Oh man. Well, and I love this environment.
It's virtual. I don't know if that's...
It's clear, and it just makes me sad that it's virtual. I want it to be real. Whenever we decided to poke around, because Fire Emblem is a favorite of both of ours.
Yeah.
That overlap does not happen as often as you would think for two people as close as us.
Yeah, it's
like we have some severe disagreements as to what is entertaining.
Whoa,
that looks cool.
Yeah, it does. And after reviewing Three Houses when it came out, we both were sort of like, so Fire Emblem is dead to us.
Yeah, they're not making the Fire Emblems that we want to play anymore.
Someone has murdered Fire Emblem, carved it up, and is wearing Fire Emblem's skin and is just parading around in it, right?
Yeah, they're just using a strong brand to make something that other people like. And
I would say that I feel largely vindicated. I would say that, so it's slightly more complicated than that.
Yeah, but
I think that, short jumps. We're virtual. Why don't you jump 15 feet in the air, Virtual Miller? I'm not sure if that's clear, because they only showed it once briefly at the beginning, but...
there we are not.
Yeah, we are masquerading as Miller. Sorry, what were you saying?
When we decided, all right, let's poke around and see what this is like, because it seems unfair to completely dismiss it when there is still game in there.
Yeah.
With all of the weird social stuff they put in there.
Mm-hmm.
I am generally a fan of weird social stuff. I just don't like it heaped on top of my technical strategy stuff. I like them separate. Like people who don't like peas with their mashed potatoes. I don't want them in the same place. Those are two very different moods for me. And I was ready to like the social stuff. I was like, well, maybe I will just play it back and forth. Like, I will play through all of the social aspects and then hang on until I feel like doing technical stuff and, just treat it like it's almost two different games.
Mm-hmm.
And then, or I could just handle all of the social stuff because we were going to play it together. So I was like, maybe I'll find the social stuff charming. And I just won't try to play Fire Emblem. I'll try to play some...
like a visual novel.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, maybe this will be cute. Because I was like, if I'm going to spend time on this, I'm not going to go in thinking, well, I'm just going to hate this. Because that's just not a good attitude to approach anything you're trying to do for entertainment. So I was ready to like it. And it took me like 20 minutes to be like, no, I can't. I can't.
So I've been hitting you with Fire Emblem, the Fire Emblem News Network. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah.
And just sort of relating important things that happen to you, or I'll talk to you about the mechanics. So you've been getting a ton of information secondhand.
Yeah, I have. At this point, I would not say that I'm even as involved with that game as I am with, like, when we're playing something on the show and I'm not playing.
Yeah.
You know, like right now.
Yeah, if this is secondhand, then we're probably talking about third, fourth.
Yeah.
And it's been telephoned at least one additional time.
Yeah, so.
Functionally.
Yeah.
Because it's all being filtered through me, and I'm pretty cynical about what's happening.
That is really all I have to say about it. I bounced off the surface of the social stuff so hard that I didn't even really get past the first map in combat because it was so slow and I just didn't care, and I was also on a vacation, and I decided that I didn't want to cramp my neck and shoulders over that vacation trying to squint at this tiny text and deal with poopy writing. And it's just like, no, I'm gonna go make a sandwich or sleep. I'm gonna go sleep. That seems like a better use of my time.
Because let me be clear about one thing right away. The story, like the main story, is essentially nothing but cliche and frustration. I don't even want to give a spoiler warning because it's just...
You've seen all of this before.
Yeah, it's just crap. Like, okay, so spoiler warning for Three Houses, I guess, if I have to. Your father perishes.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel a thing. It would have been...
and remember Elliewood's dad? That was a big deal.
So, here's the problem. It's manifold, right? Mm-hmm. First off, at this point, it would be an incredible surprise. It would be an enormous twist if a dad in Fire Emblem didn't die.
Yeah.
Fire Emblem loves killing dads. Mm-hmm. I think it's just that as a nation, it seems like Japan has a disproportionate number of daddy issues. Mm-hmm. And just Hector. Did you know Hector dies?
No!
Yes, Hector as a necessary part of Binding Blade. Hector is killed. And his daughter, who is one of the main characters, has to deal with the fallout of that.
Oh man, so he dies like early, not just old and in his bed and surrounded by fat grandchildren?
No, I mean he's older, but like his daughter is barely a teenager.
Oh, that's not appropriate.
Yeah, it's sad. But you know why? I think it's only sad because of the order. I already knew Hector.
Right.
Because I played
Is it
Blazing Blade before Binding Blade.
Yeah.
And Elliewood's dad. I mean, just every part of it was just... I don't think that they built up the relationship between the two of you successfully. He doesn't make like a strong impression or serve like much of a mechanical purpose like Grail, Ike's dad. He is the guy that like teaches you. He's the tutorial voice, right?
Yeah.
And they try to do that here, but it just... Oh.
Oop.
What did I...
You missed.
Yeah. It just didn't hit the same way. He didn't make as strong of an impression, and he doesn't get this big, grand, kind of operatic, mysterious end. Ike's dad is killed by the Black Knight, and it is a very memorable scene for several reasons, and additional details are filled in after the fact. And it just makes the whole thing much more meaningful and memorable, right?
Yeah.
Because like you learn that first off, the Black Knight tries to give Grail a sword to use so they can fight sword v sword. So it's really interesting because anybody that's played the game, anybody that knows the mechanics already knows that in a very real, tangible, mechanical way, Grail is at a disadvantage because he's fighting a sword user with an axe.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting how they give you this sense of foreboding with the game's mechanics.
Yes. Oh.
Because you're like, Grail, pick up the sword, man.
That's another thing that you and I both appreciate it when different aspects of a game, I don't know, act like they're part of the same universe.
Yeah, whenever there's a synchronicity between mechanics and story.
And I mean, I know it's tricky, but you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars and hours and staff and whatever, figure it out. It's tricky. You know, that's the whole point of doing crazy projects. To get the tricky parts right. And it's just so disappointing because like it was that first map.
Mm-hmm.
Was it the first map?
What are you thinking about? Tell me.
I'm thinking about when the protagonist gets teleported over to an incident that's happening where he's trying to save somebody, but that somebody would have probably been okay because of the different weapons that they were wielding.
I think that is at the end of the first map.
It was like one of the few of those. I know that they keep doing it, but it's like, well, once you're at a certain point in a map or you've come to a conclusion in a map and something needs to happen, they just kind of ignore where everyone is or what they're doing at all and just move you there. And
they just sort of go into cutscene mode.
Yeah, like, it's just so clunky.
Yeah, and I know what you're talking about. They were... A bandit jumps up. A bandit that has presumably been killed jumps up and tries to attack Edelgard.
Right.
One of the lords of the three houses.
Yeah.
Now, why is this being so
I think you need to back up a little more.
difficult?
Because I think you're under the ledge.
No. Because I've got to be that close.
Okay.
Now, does this actually take me anywhere useful? Presumably, you know what? I don't want to accidentally break something. I'm not 100% convinced that I was supposed to go that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? We'll drop down there in the next episode. We need to stop for a minute and organize our thoughts because I feel like maybe it's just me. I feel like we're straying from the point we were trying to make. What are we trying to say about Three Houses?
It's good, it's bad.
Cosplayers ruined Fire Emblem.
No, don't say that because then they'll be sad.